Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about Kitty Pryde. Now I do apologize for the lack of the quality of the clip that I'll be using to demonstrate my point, but I did get it sent over to me by Line, and Line downscales the quality quite significantly. But there are a ton of videos out there with Kitty Pryde absolutely destroying Alliance Wars, specifically the mini boss island, because it's seeded with true focus. Keep in mind, true focus is a node that's technically intended and, does effectively stop evades and miss mechanics, and therefore hinders a lot of champions, either unusable or, well, significantly hinders them. That being said, Kitty Pryde is not your run-of-the-mill phasing champion, right? Kitty Pryde does have mechanics for that in her awakened ability. So now, not only she takes no damage while she's phasing, which, is a very, very, very powerful ability. In itself, I don't think there is much wrong with that. We already have it with Ghost and Hood, and we all know how useful it can be. Then she has superbly increased combat power rate while she's phasing. And on top of that, while she's getting struck, the phase is paused. Now, combination of all of that only comes into play, obviously, if opponent has some miss-counter measures. So if we take away nodes like True Focus and, matchups where opponents can hit her while she's phasing, I don't think there's that much wrong with the character. She's definitely on the powerful side, but, she would be able to cheese some things, but at the same time, there'll be plenty of place for user error. It would still be, quite cheesy, quite broken, quite busted, but I don't think it would cause that much of a problem. It would be worth talking about, but we are here where when you are going up against True Focus, like in this fight, opponent has hazard shift, opponent's stun immune, and it's Nova, so auto blocks and hard to parry and all that other stuff. She doesn't care about any of that, because you see, once you throw level 3, if you are phased, you increase your phase duration to 4 seconds, which is effectively long enough to let your opponent hit you till he gets you all the way back up to level 3, and you repeat an infinite cycle, effectively relegating a fight to a point where you stand, you get hit, and you use a special 3. That's it. That's the fight. If opponent bypasses miss, this is what you can do in every single fight. Phase, get hit, use special 3, that's it. Keep throwing special 3s. Now, the entire point of True Focus being on this mini boss island is the fact that Kabam is trying to stop some absolutely overpowered champions. The only 2 overpowered champions really in this game, I believe, Quake and Ghost. Now, obviously, Ghost can still be used if you are confident and skilled with her, but it did, in fact, stop Quake. And say what you will about Quake, and Quake is quite literally my favorite character in this game, and I love her on a personal note. She's insane. That's why I enjoy her so much. Obviously, I would love if Kabam left her alone. There would be less True Focus nodes as and when I play. Do I think Quake as a champion is good for this game? No. Do I think the game would have been better off overall if Quake and Ghost did not exist? Yeah, probably. In case of Quake, most definitely. I 100% understand why there is no 6-star Quake in the game, and I do not think it would be a really healthy thing for the game to introduce her. At the same time, as Kabam is trying to stop Quake and Ghost, they do release something like this. And say what you will about Quake, at the very least, you do have to play. Not like with other characters, but you know, there is still some practice involved, and you need to be an active part of the fight. Kitty Pryde, you need to stand there, get hit, and you tap one button every so often. So if anybody has ever complained about how Quake is not, you know, fair, good for the game or whatever else, or how they're not like using her, then this, as far as I'm concerned, is much, much, much worse. Because there were so many people who were either unwilling to spend the time or unable to learn the playstyle, and you know, that was the limiting factor of Quake before Kabam started with this true focus spam. The fact that people actually had to be able to do it. You had to do inputs in the game in order to be able to achieve the results. When it comes to this, literally any person is able to do this. Absolutely anyone. And I do think that that is a problem. I do think Quake poses quite a big problem in this game. But I do think this is even bigger problem. It might not be as, you know, common in every fight. But as we are seeing more and more champions that bypass miss, as we are seeing true focus spammed everywhere, now it's just a massive win to everybody who has Kitty Pryde. What do you think what's going to happen when the next quest comes out where we have true focus active? You bring in Kitty Pryde. That's it. And then people who don't have Kitty Pryde obviously are going to be pissed off, so on and so forth. Now, ultimately, I'm not flat out telling Kitty Pryde has to be nerfed, because I don't want to tell you guys what to think. But I do want you guys to talk about it. And tell me, tell Kabam, talk to your friends. What do you genuinely think Kitty Pryde means for this game? And whether this is fine. I don't think I do. If I'm willing to accept the fact that Quake is unhealthy for the game, then there is no way in hell I can pretend that this isn't worse. This might not happen, like, you know, in more situations, but when it does happen, it turns a fighting game into nothing. Now, in an ideal world, obviously, nothing like this should have ever been released, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think the problem is with most of her mechanics. They're still potent, they're still abusable, they're fun and interactive, and you actually have to play the character. But I do think that this loop in particular is a problem. And obviously, no matter what Kabam does at this point, I think is not going to be liked by someone. It's going to bring some problems. If they leave her alone, you know, it's not going to be good for the game, I think. And it will separate peoples quite definitively in haves and have-nots. Because this is too powerful. I don't think anybody can look me in the eye with a straight face and say that this is normal. This is how a fighting game should work. And obviously, if Kabam does touch Kitty Pryde, then there has been a lot of money involved. There has been a lot of effort and grinding involved, rank up materials, and it will pose a huge problem. But I do think that this is a huge problem. What is funny, though, we have champions coming out like Psycho Man and Super Skrull and Purgatory and America Chavez, alongside Hercules, and especially this type of mechanic. And we're talking about game balance. Now, I don't know what's the best thing to do. But I'm also not willing to sit here and pretend that this is not worth talking about and that this can go unaddressed. Because if this type of thing exists in a game, that Kabam is undermining everything that they have been saying to us about game balance, about why true focus exists in Alliance War right now, and so much more. I do believe that this champion being released in the state that it is right now is a huge fuck up. It is a massive oversight by the company. And there's going to be no easy way out of this. They might just bite the bullet and nerf that. But at a time like this, when the game's having so many more issues, I believe that will push more players away. And I also do think if this goes unaddressed, that in itself will push more people away. I don't have the perfect answer for a solution here, especially right now. Because we must keep in mind that Kabam right now is much more vulnerable than they have been before. Therefore, again, let me know. What do you guys think? Is Kitty Pryde fair, balanced, good for the game? Or if not, what would you do? Keeping in mind the player base and the game in itself. It's easy to say nerf her to the ground, but you need to think about the implications that will have. Somebody spent $1,000 on Kitty Pryde crystals. Kabam is never going to refund that. What will happen to people who have spent that much or grinded that hard if they just nerf her down? Either way, I can't pretend that it's normal. So let's talk about it. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about